Nisijione mkamilifu kwa nguvu zangu, nitaweza peke yangu. Nisiamini hekima yangu, juhudi zangu, nikutazamie Mungu. Watakaonisikia wakinishangilia, niwaelekeze kwako. Watakaonifuata nikikufuata, tuje kwako na chochote kile kitaenda sawa. Sio mimi, wewe ujulikane, na popote pale itaenda Baba. Sio mimi, wewe ujulikane, ujulikane, ujulikane. Ewe Yesu, ujulikane, ujulikane, ujulikane. Ewe Yesu, ujulikane kwa maneno yangu, tena matendo yangu. Natamani wewe ujulikane, kama vile maji yafunikavyo bahari. Natamani wewe ujulikane, uokoe waliofungwa, uponye waliozidiwa, uinue waliolemewa. Hakuna usichokiweza Baba, na chochote kile kitaenda sawa. Sio mimi, wewe ujulikane, na popote pale itaenda Baba. Sio mimi, wewe ujulikane, ujulikane, ujulikane. Ewe Yesu, 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 ujulikane, ujulikane. Kote ni wewe, siku zote ni wewe. Hakuna mwingine ila ni wewe. Ujulikane, ujulikane. Ewe Yesu, ujulikane, ujulikane, ujulikane. Ewe Yesu, ujulikane, ujulikane, ujulikane. Ewe Yesu, ujulikane, ujulikane, ujulikane. Ewe Yesu, ujulikane.
My name is Isaac Maluki. I am a husband to an amazing wife, a father to some lovely children, and an entrepreneur. And today my story is basically to encourage those who are thinking about going into business or in business, either struggling through the business or even thriving through the business. Mine is simply to talk to you about my experience and hope that it can be able to be an encouragement to you. A long time ago, very many years ago, I thought about getting into business. And, especially when you're married, there's always this thing of can both parties be in business, or should one stay at work and the other be in business? I mean, that's a struggle that I'm sure a number of people relate to. But my wife was very supportive, and she allowed me to venture into this business idea that I wanted to. So I started doing some social audits where I was able to inspect and audit different factories around 9 African countries. And in that time, while we were doing that audit and inspection, I was able to get to understand a lot about manufacturing and exporting to Europe and America, and just wanted to take up a challenge further than just doing the audits. But in all this time that I was thinking of taking this challenge, we were not financially stable, and so there was quite a struggle, but I still felt that it was something that we needed to do. We even ended up having to sell our house so that we could, do a little bit more in business and all. But in all this, I remember, we sat down with my wife and talked about it, and we also prayed about it. And one thing I like about our family is that we talk together and we pray together. And during that time, we really wanted to know, should I go into business? Shouldn't I go into business? And we actually stepped into it. So I started a factory with my wife 3 years ago. We started with 47 people manufacturing garments for export into the US and into France. That was one of the difficult things that we did. We started the business, and as we were going through it, I remember sometimes I would think, I need to do some things, and I thought maybe I shouldn't involve my wife in this decision, and I can just do it and it should work out well. And surprisingly, every time that I made a decision by myself, it just went south. Things were just not going right. So at times I would think, no, they'll just get better, and they just weren't getting better. I remember even some time I used some funds that I wasn't supposed to, but I thought, no, it's okay, I'll get it done, it will be fine, it will come back. And it never did, and it really messed things up. But through all that, through the challenges that we were going through, we still had a passion, and our passion was to the people that we engaged, that we hired, the 47 employees that kept growing to 120, to 250, to 310, and the numbers just kept going up. And so the challenge was how we can be able to keep those families at work, and on top of keeping them at work, how we can be able to make sure that we are able to pay them a salary at the end of every month. The long story short is that I got to realize from my mistakes that I really needed to work with my partner so much, and we got to a point where we agreed to work together and to get a lot of support from her. And during that time is when I started seeing things changing, is when I started seeing us getting to solutions and fixing the problems that obviously I brought about. But we were able to work things out, and the business kept going. And in 2019, when business was starting to pick up and everything, we thought 2020 will be an amazing year. And then obviously COVID happened. So when it did, it affected our factory in January, because we get all our raw materials from China, and the Chinese New Year in that year of 2020, instead of starting in February, started in January. So from that point of the Chinese New Year, there was no raw materials that we could access. And then obviously the world went into panic, and everyone was closing their borders, and we still had a lot of people. But God was always with us, and He hears our prayers, and He listens to us as we talk to Him, because we started seeing a lot of beautiful things happening in the year 2020, when we thought that this was just going to be a disaster. We were able to change what we were doing from just manufacturing, sportswear and activewear for the US. And we started looking at manufacturing PPE for the first responders in the country, and trying to see how we can be able to probably just repurpose our production and start making PPE for export as well. And we managed to get a call from the government officials, the Ministry of Health, the Kenya Associations of Manufacturers, who are really interested in seeing how they could support us to support our employees at the same time as we manufacture and support the first responders. 2020, as much as we thought was going to be a very, very tough year, was a year that we started seeing ourselves even hiring more people. And moving from the 320 that I was talking about earlier on, we started even trying to look for more workers, and we got to 530 employees in the year 2020. When we were seeing companies closing, we were getting an opportunity to hire and to offer support to a number of the people that we were working with. In our factory, over 80% of our employees are female, and we know that hiring them means supporting a lot of their families. And so we were really, really thankful to God that we got that opportunity to do that in the year 2020. We were able to make a lot of PPEs. We were able to get some mileage that also was able to guide us on just supporting us through what we would have called a turbulent year before we get back into our normal export business, which we are currently doing. During the COVID time, one of the challenges that we got, it was in our hearts that we needed to not just grow in the business, but also to give. And I think in the times that I started entrepreneurship and all, I wasn't even giving. I mean, my giving was so minimal. But we got to a point where we said, this year we were going to give. And we increased our giving, I think 30 or 40 folds. And we gave more than we ever even thought that we could in the year 2020. And during that time, we were so, it was such a blessing to know that somewhere God was providing for us, because whatever we were given, it wasn't ours. Everything that we have, it's not ours. Yeah, God has given us that opportunity to hold, to support, and for us, we know the more you hold back, you can't give. Your hands are closed. You're not able to hold anything else. But the more you give, and the more you give, the more you receive. And we saw it happen. And we agreed to give, and we would give everything that we had, not just a percentage, but everything that we had. And then miracles were just happening. We would actually see God's hand, because, a few days later you get a phone call and someone says, hey, we just decided that we're going to come and support your business. And all of a sudden, yes, we had given everything, and now here we have some more. And for us, we've not stopped giving, because it's not because we know we can get because of giving, but because with giving, it's a ministry. It's a way of serving. It's a way of thanking God for what He has done, how He has taken us through. And it's something that we just treasure. We can't give enough. And we thank God for all that He's given us. And it's just a way of coming back and saying thank you. So in 2020, when we had very difficult moments we didn't even know whether we're going to pay people's salaries or even our own bills, we still knew one thing, was that we were going to give, and give with a joyful heart. And that has always given us peace of mind. So we remember also times when I didn't even know how I was going to get to work. Literally, wake up and then at the same time, I don't even know how I'm going to tell anyone that I can't get to work because, hey, I don't have fuel, I don't even have anything. And guys would be wondering, come on, you have a factory. Really? You can't? But even when we did that, I wake up in the morning, and one thing I like about my mornings is that I always wake up and start with getting to read the Bible, doing some worship, and then I simply talk to God, and I tell God, today it's gonna be a good day, because you already know the challenges that are facing me, and I just want to place them in your hands so that you can be able to take care of them for me. First, I don't have fuel. I need to get to work. Can we see how we can be able to take care of that? And second, how are we going to be able to get more sustainable in our business? Please just help me on that. And by the time I'm getting out of the house, I'm already getting solutions. I'm already getting people calling. And all that is just because it's God answering. So I like the fact that I wake up and I can start with God, because at the end of the day, then I can finish with God and just thank Him for what He's done for that day. Now, during the COVID time, we were at a point where we didn't even know how we were going to pay salaries. But then we started making masks on top of the PPEs that we were making. I asked my team to just make masks. We had a lot of fabric that we had as stock fabric in our factory. And I just asked my team, cut everything and make masks. And so they thought, wow, great business. We are making masks. We'll sell and be able to keep the business running. The first 200,000 masks that we made, I just went around donating the masks. And guys thought, I must be crazy. You don't have the money, and here you are now delivering masks and delivering them for free. What was the thinking behind that? Well, for me, one was that I was going to keep my people at work. I didn't want them to go home and not to have anything to pay for rent or food, I still wanted to keep my people at work. And so we started making masks even without getting an order. And I thought maybe the first thing I'll just do is start donating the masks. And we went around, we donated some in church, we donated some to just different people we would find. We donated to the police department in Athi River. I remember we also donated some to Kitengela and Machakos, all the way to Kitui. We went around just donating. But you know, that also brought orders, because then for the areas that we were doing our donations, we started seeing actually people coming back and saying, hey, can we order some masks now? We'd like to support you as well. And so it worked out very, very well. And I think when my team started seeing the results from that, they backed off a bit and they said, you know what, we know what our director is doing, and we know that God is leading him. So they were able to support me. Whenever I told them that now I need another 1,000 masks to go and donate somewhere, they were happy enough to give me. So we really enjoyed that moment. In all that, the struggle was obviously there. The struggle was that were we going to be able to keep making it towards getting salaries for our workers? Were we going to get the support that we needed from the banks? And we were lucky to be able to do that, to be able to get that kind of a support. It was a struggle. It was a definite struggle, because there are months that we did not know what to do. We didn't know how we were going to feed our people. We even had to, I remember, call landlords and just tell them, hold on, we are gonna pay our people, just hold on. We are, don't kick anyone out. We have hired them, we are supporting them. And God was always on our side. He was always on our side, because we always got an opportunity where we were able to take care of our workers. And when we thought maybe we don't have something to do, then we get an international buyer who's interested in supporting us by placing orders with us, or we would get a local buyer who's interested in placing some orders with us. And we also got a very good support system, especially my family, my parents, my wife's parents. We really got a lot of support from them. As an entrepreneur, a lot of times you find that there's a struggle between the entrepreneur and the entrepreneurial business, and maybe wanting to go back to work because things are not working out. But I think about the beauty about being an entrepreneur is that every time you fall down, you know that you've fallen down. You just dust yourself. You get up, you talk to God, and you start again. And you know, and that's what I've done for very many years. Getting to where we are now with this number of people, where we've hired over 500 people, we are able to support them, has not been one of those where it was just one day. But with all the times that we fell down, we always knew that if there's one thing we know, is that our God is alive, our God is able, and He listens to us. And your answers may come in a month, in a year, in 3 years, like ours will come in 10, 15 years later, but they do come. And you just have to be there. You have to hang in there. You have to keep focus. You have to focus in what you're doing, be passionate about it. But even as you're doing that, you cannot forget to go to God, to seek Him, and to seek His face, to just understand Him more. And during that time, you will start seeing a lot of differences. And so I'm grateful that I have an opportunity in this country, not just to help people by employing them, but I have an opportunity to actually serve my God. And that is the part that gives me more joy, because in what I'm doing, as I do that, as I serve God, as I seek Him, as I learn yearn to learn more about God, I get to know so much that I can do, and I get to see a lot of success. I see success in life, not just in business, in life, in my relationship with my family, with my wife, with my children, with my siblings, with my parents. I just see that relationship keeping on growing, and then the love of God just continues to overflow, not just from me to my family, but also to the people I work with. And that's just an amazing thing. I think for me, I'm just here to try and encourage you, to let you know that while you're doing your business and you ask God to hold your hand, He will actually be there to hold your hand, to carry you through it, and to make you thrive.
The Lord is my shepherd. He goes before me. Defender behind me. I won't fear. I'm filled with anointing. Hey, my cup's overflowing. No weapon can harm me. I won't fear. Oh, hallelujah. I am not alone. He's my comfort, always holds me close. He always guides me. Oh, thank you, Jesus. The mountains and valleys. His joy is refreshing every day. Yes, restores my soul. Hey, mercy and goodness, gives me assurance. Hey, that I see His glory. Yeah, face to face. Hallelujah. I am not alone. He's my comfort, always holds me close. Oh, He always holds me close, yeah. Hallelujah, I am not alone. He's my comfort, always holds me close. Your spirit lives within me, so I will walk in your peace. Your spirit lives within me, my victory, my victory. Your spirit lives within me, so I will walk in your your peace. Your spirit lives within me. My victory, my victory. Your spirit lives within me. So I will walk in your peace. Your spirit lives within me. My victory, my victory. Your spirit lives within me. So I will walk in your peace. Your spirit lives within me. My victory. Hallelujah. I am not alone. He's my comfort, always holds me close. Oh, yeah. Hallelujah. I am not alone. I am not alone.